What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over several quick tips that you're going to want to know in Fortnite's new KPop Demon Hunters update. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, comment down below what tip you have found most helpful in this update, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is EvolveJake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the new KPop items. We got the Teleportation mask back in the loot pool, which is essentially a reskin of the Void mask. The golden shield bubble back in the loot pool, which is a shield bubble that heals you. The sword, which is not the greatest melee weapon, but also not the greatest movement item as well. I feel like it's more reined in than a lot of the other melee swords we've had in the past. We also got the flowberry mist grenade in this update and the lock-on AR. So there's a lot of items added to the loot pool that'll really change things up. When it comes to the new KPop Demon Hunters items, there's actually two NPCs at Sandy Strip that will sell them. Rumi will sell the sword, and Jinu will sell the teleportation mask. For some reason, the mask you can purchase from Jinu will actually degrade much faster than the one you can find from looting. It's called the same item in your inventory, so I don't really know why this is the case. But if you do buy it, it's going to use more durability for each teleport you make, making it a much worse movement item or thing to carry than the ones you actually find from looting. So if you're really desperate, you can buy it here, but you're much better off just getting it from a chest. The Zoe NPC is going to be a hired healer NPC at Ripped Tides, and then Mira is going to be a hired supply specialist NPC, and she is located at Battlewood. And these supply specialist NPCs are going to be really good on this patch because shockwaves were also added back to the loot pool in the KPop Demon Hunters update. But the amount that you can carry in a single inventory slot was reduced from 6 to 4. So you're not able to carry as many shockwaves now. And so the supply specialist NPC being able to give you shockwaves is something that will, keep you topped off on shockwaves throughout the match and be really, really helpful. Those supply specialist NPCs have always been good with shockwaves, but now that you can carry less shockwaves, I think they're even better. You can also purchase some of the KPop Demon Hunters items in the miscellaneous vending machines. These are going to be the ones that have like a llama on it. The ramen noodles healing item will be purchasable for 250 gold. The golden shield bubbles you can purchase for 500 gold. And then the sword you will be able to purchase for 2,000 gold, which I think is very overpriced. I don't think very highly of the sword, but I do like being able to purchase the ramen because I think it's probably the best healing item in the game right now. The lock-on AR is an AR that will lock on, and there's a few useful counters to this, I guess, or things that it will counter. If an enemy is sitting in a bush, you can just aim at the bush and you'll be able to mark them and lock onto them and, get damage on a player through the bush. With the new flowberry mist grenade, you can also just lock onto players who are in there, so that smoke screen does not counter the lock-on AR. But one thing that will counter the lock-on AR is going to be the stealth splash item. This turns you invisible for a period of time after you use it or until you start using your weapons. And if you use this, the lock-on AR player will not be able to lock onto you. This isn't something that I feel like is really that great of a counter to the lock-on AR though, because as I said, once you start shooting your weapon, you're not going to be invisible anymore. So if you're actually fighting somebody using the lock-on AR, the stealth splash, I don't think actually really helps you that much, but I guess it is worth knowing that it can somewhat counter the lock-on AR. There were some changes to fishing in this update. You can now find high rarity weapons when you're fishing in the fishing spots. I believe prior to this update, you were only able to get fish. The only weapon you could get from fishing prior to this was the mythic tactical pistol, but you can now just fish regular weapons and get some pretty high rarity weapons from fishing, in addition to, the really good shield fish healing item. And there's also a chance for you to get the mythic Bigfoot Flex SMG from fishing. The spawn rate doesn't seem very high on this, but the fact that you have a chance to get this mythic is very surprising because it's still called Bigfoot's Mythic Flex SMG. You're supposed to only be getting it from eliminating the Bigfoot boss, but you can potentially get it from fishing. Going back to the golden shield bubble, this is a shield bubble you throw down and then it will give you shield over time while you're inside of it. Last time it was in the game, there was a bug where if you shockwaved out of the golden shield bubble, you would continue gaining shield until you reached full shield. And I believe taking damage also kind of negates this. And this was not patched, so you can still shockwave out of the golden shield bubble and regenerate shield over time. This makes it really good for resetting fights because you can just start down, get some shield, heal in there if needed, but also if someone's pushing you and you know you're not going to want to fight them yet, you can just shockwave away, get out of that situation, and continue to gain more and more shield. So this is kind of an OP combo. I'm surprised they didn't fix that bug. Another bug they didn't fix is going to be with the teleportation mask, because whether it's this tiger teleportation mask or the void mask, there's been a bug in the game pretty much the entire time this item has existed, where if you have downward momentum enough to take fall damage, sometimes when you teleport, you would end up taking fall damage. And what this would often mean is, like, if you jump off of a mountain or jump off of a structure, then you have the chance to maybe take fall damage when you land, even though the mask is supposed to cancel the fall damage. The way you deal with this is just try not to jump before you teleport, and try not to put yourself in a situation where you were about to take fall damage just as you teleport. So it's not like a constant bug that just happens every time. It's just like a chance to maybe happen, I guess. But just avoiding those situations will hopefully avoid you taking fall damage when using the mask. It's like the downward momentum doesn't sometimes get canceled by the teleport. You also can cancel the mask. I've seen people say this is like a bug where they try to teleport and they just don't go anywhere. This happens when you like hit the teleport button and then swap weapons too quickly before your character actually teleports, and then you kind of like cancel that teleport from taking place. So it's not, I guess it is a bug, but it really isn't a bug. It's like a missed timing of like you swapping weapons. So if you are going to try to teleport and then swap weapons right away, make sure you wait a bit until you have actually teleported before you start swapping weapons. That way you don't actually accidentally cancel it. And this is something that's just been a part of Fortnite forever. A lot of times people see this manifested with, they try to shoot their pump and then swap too quickly and actually cancel that pump shot because they're like, their gun hasn't shot and then they're swapping. This will happen sometimes with like shockwaves as well. You try to throw the shock and then swap too quickly before you've actually thrown the shock. So just try to be more intentional with your button clicks if you are accidentally canceling the masks. And like the flowberries we've had in the past, the flowberry mist will combo with any movement item in the game. So if you flowberry mist and shockwave, you're going to go much higher and much further. If you flowberry and then launchpad, you're going to go further. The ride at Wonky Land, if you go through that after using the flowberry mist, you'll go really far. So just like the flowberries in the past, it kind of amplifies any other movement item that you're going to be using. And the final thing we're going to talk about is the Dark Harvester. This is the Dark Voyager ship that's above Lethal Labs. It has returned to the map a week ago or so, and at the time it was marking kind of everybody on the map. It seems like it no longer scans at all, but now one thing that will happen is that if you shoot the Dark Harvester, it will shoot back at you and potentially eliminate you. It could do 200 damage. I think it could do 250. I know it can one hit you in zero build, or sorry, in builds. A full HP opponent, full HP player can die to the Dark Harvester. I don't know if the overshield in zero build makes a difference, but I doubt it. Either way, just don't shoot the Dark Harvester. And if you're fighting people that are in line with it, to the point where you might accidentally shoot it, that's something that you do want to keep in mind. You can avoid this by going behind like mountains or like permanent structures, but through breakable structures, I would assume you would just get eliminated. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.